You know Pedri, the magician of Barcelona's midfield, the master of precise passes and flawless control. But what if everything you thought you knew was just the surface? Behind the shy boy from the Canary Islands hides a rising millionaire machine. At only 22 years old, he hasn't just conquered the world of football. He's built a fortune, signed with some of the biggest brands on the planet, and drives cars that most people only dream about. But how much does he actually earn? What kind of luxury vehicles fill his private garage? Which global companies are battling to have his face in their campaigns? And what is the daily life really like for one of football's most discreet, yet incredibly wealthy, young stars? Get ready to uncover the hidden side of Pedri, the side the cameras don't always show. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. He didn't just walk onto the pitch. He seemed to belong there from the very first second. While others his age still battled nerves and inconsistency, Pedri played with a calm, mature presence that felt almost unnatural for someone so young. His touch, precise and elegant. His vision, as if he could see the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else. He found passing lanes that didn't even exist until he made them. There was a kind of magic in the way he moved, a quiet confidence that drew the attention of scouts from across Europe. It wasn't long before his talent became impossible to ignore. And then came the call. In 2019, before he had even turned 18, Barcelona, always with their eyes on the future, saw something special. They didn't hesitate. The club made their move and signed him. At first, many saw it as just another investment in potential, a quiet gamble, a project for the long term. But what happened next stunned everyone. From the moment Pedri stepped into the training grounds of Barca, things began to shift. He didn't arrive with ego or arrogance, quite the opposite. His humility, his discipline, and his performance in training quickly won over the coaching staff and even the most experienced players. Before long, this quiet teenager from the Canary Islands wasn't just part of the team, he was changing the team. In the 2020-2021 season, barely out of adolescence, Pedri became a regular starter in one of the most demanding midfields in world football. He wasn't just holding his own, he was shining alongside legends. His chemistry with Lionel Messi was something rare, something instinctive. The connection between them lit up the pitch, and fans began to whisper what they hadn't dared say in years. Maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of something new, a new hope, a new era. That same year, the world took notice. Pedri didn't just win games, he won hearts. His performances earned him the Golden Boy Award in 2021, the prestigious prize given to the best under-21 player in Europe. And as if that wasn't enough, he also took home the Copa Trophy, awarded by France Football to the best young player on the planet. These weren't just trophies, they were confirmation, undeniable proof that the boy many had underestimated was, in fact, a once-in-a-generation talent, a rare gem, and maybe the answer to Barcelona's prayers in one of their most uncertain times. His style, graceful and cerebral, reminded fans of legends like Xavi and Iniesta, and while those comparisons can be heavy, Pedri never let the weight crush him. He just kept playing, like the game was part of him. There's something almost surreal about watching Pedri play. Before the ball even reaches his feet, it's as if he already knows exactly what he's going to do. His decisions are instinctive, but never rushed, calm and calculated. Pedri isn't just reacting to the game, he's orchestrating it. His ability to dictate the tempo, escape tight spaces with effortless turns, and see the field like a grandmaster plotting moves in chess has made him one of Europe's most exciting playmakers today. But Pedri isn't just flair and creativity, he's intelligent, tactically sharp beyond his years. On the pitch, he's as valuable defending and recovering the ball as he is building plays and threading impossible passes. He reads the game with a depth that feels rare in players so young, and that balance of elegance and discipline, vision and effort is what makes him so special. Of course, even prodigies face challenges. Pedri's meteoric rise came at a price. With the heavy schedule of club and international matches, his body began to feel the strain. Muscle injuries started to show up, a clear consequence of the exhausting number of games he was asked to play, often without rest. But even that didn't stop him. In 2021, Pedri made his debut for Spain's senior national team, a milestone that came faster than anyone expected. That same year, he was called up for the UEFA Euro, and despite being one of the youngest players in the entire tournament, he didn't just blend in, he stood out. Match after match, Pedri impressed with his maturity, control and work rate. So much so that at the end of the tournament, he was named the best young player of the Euro, a title that echoed around the world. But he wasn't done yet. Just weeks after the Euros, Pedri laced up his boots again, this time for the Tokyo Olympics. Representing Spain's Olympic team, he pushed through fatigue, pain, and an already overwhelming season that had seen him play over 70 matches. And still, he gave everything. In Japan, he helped lead the team to a silver medal, showing not only his technical brilliance, but an extraordinary physical and mental resilience. Behind the scenes of this rising star, though, is something even more powerful, a tight-knit, grounded family. Pedri's father, Fernando González, has always had football in his blood, not just as a fan, but as someone who worked close to the game. At one point, he even worked as a cook in a bar connected to Club Deportivo Tenerife, a local team that gave him a glimpse into the sport's inner workings. That environment naturally rubbed off on Pedri. From an early age, football wasn't just a game, it was part of everyday life. His mother, Miriam Lopez, on the other hand, has always been the calm behind the storm. Soft-spoken, loving, and deeply involved in her children's lives, she has been a constant emotional anchor, encouraging Pedri to stay humble, no matter how bright the spotlight gets. She's the voice that reminds him where he came from and who he truly is. Pedri also shares a close bond with his older brother, Fernando, who once dreamed of becoming a professional footballer himself. Though that path didn't pan out, Fernando has always been at Pedri's side, not as a shadow, but as a supporter, a confidant, and one of his biggest fans. The two brothers grew up kicking balls together in the backyard, dreaming of stadiums, roaring crowds, and Barca jerseys. And while only one of them made it to that stage, they both walked the journey together. From day one, Pedri's parents didn't just push him to succeed. They taught him to dream responsibly, to aim high, but never forget his values. That balance between ambition and humility is what continues to define Pedri today, both on and off the pitch. From the very beginning, Pedri's journey was never just about talent, it was about values. In his home, humility and respect weren't suggestions, they were the foundation. Long before the bright lights and roaring crowds, there was a quiet kid from Tegeste, guided by a family that taught him to keep his feet on the ground, no matter how high he climbed. His father, Fernando, was more than just a proud parent. He was the one who drove him to training sessions, stood in the cold during matches, and sat quietly on the sidelines during long journeys to trials in bigger cities. He was there, always, including that one day neither of them would ever forget, the trial with Real Madrid. A rare snowstorm hit hard, Pedri struggled to perform, and the club's scouts ultimately decided he wasn't good enough. They turned him away, but instead of crushing him, that moment lit a fire. His family never stopped believing. In fact, they believed harder. That rejection didn't close a door, it opened the one that truly mattered. Fast forward a few years, and Pedri is now one of the most exciting names in world football. But what's fascinating is how little fame has changed him. Despite earning millions and working with some of the biggest brands in the world, he hasn't let the spotlight cloud his vision or his lifestyle. Let's talk about his cars, for example. While some football stars prefer to show off with flashy Ferraris or ultra-luxury Lamborghinis, Pedri's approach is more understated, practical, thoughtful. His main ride, a Cupra Formentor, a high-performance Spanish SUV with a bold design and cutting-edge tech. It's sleek, powerful and comfortable, but it doesn't scream for attention. The kind of car you choose when you know who you are and don't need to prove it to anyone. The Formentor can cost around $50,000, depending on the extras. But for Pedri, it's not about the price tag. It's about reliability and connection. Cupra, after all, is a brand closely linked with FC Barcelona, and many of his teammates also choose it. But that's not all. Pedri has also been spotted behind the wheel of a Cupra Born, the brand's first 100% electric vehicle. A modern EV focused on urban mobility and sustainability, the Born costs around $42,000 in its premium configuration. Choosing an electric car shows that Pedri isn't just thinking about speed or luxury, he's thinking about the future. And that mindset resonates strongly in today's sports world, where more and more athletes are aligning themselves with environmental causes. And while he could easily afford to drive a $300,000 Ferrari or a €500,000 Rolls-Royce, he doesn't. Not because he can't, but because he doesn't need to. Now let's talk numbers. Pedri is currently signed with Adidas. They provide his boots and sportswear, but more than that, they've made him a global ambassador of their brand. Recently, he also partnered with Decathlon, participating in their Made to Play campaign and supporting the Second Life initiative, which promotes the reuse of sports gear and sustainability in sport. That's not just business, that's purpose. In January 2025, Pedri renewed his contract with FC Barcelona until June 2030. His current salary? Around $12.5 million per year, which breaks down to roughly $24,180 per week, not including bonuses. His estimated net worth sits at around $10 million, and his market value recently hit a jaw-dropping $120 million, cementing him as one of the most valuable players on the planet. And here's the part that blows people's minds. He's just 22 years old. At an age where most are still figuring out who they are, Pedri has already built a career many can only dream of. A millionaire, a global ambassador, a superstar on the pitch. Yet he remains the same grounded kid from Tegueste, still humble, still focused, still driven by something deeper than fame. So after learning all this, the rejections, the values, the cars, the sponsors, the massive contract, ask yourself, isn't it kind of incredible that Pedri is still just getting started? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the quiet luxury and grounded mindset of one of football's brightest stars, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we've got more stories like this coming soon. And now we want to hear from you. If you had Pedri's salary, which car would you buy first? Something practical like him, or would you go all in on a supercar? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's see who would live large and who would stay low-key. And while you're at it, tell us, which player's lifestyle should we explore next? See you in the next video.